Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Shevchenko versus Grasso rematch fight. And if you're new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like video if you do need like video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Shevchenko is 23-4 with 8 KOs and 7 submissions, and Grasso is 16-3 with 4 KOs and 2 submissions. This fight is for the UFC Women's Flyweight title. The first fight between them ended with Grasso winning via submission in round 4. Shevchenko is 35 and Grasso is 30. Grasso's UFC losses have come against Herrig in 2017, Suarez in 2018 and Esparza in 2019. Shevchenko's UFC losses have come versus Nunes in 2016 and 2017 and Grasso in 2023. This is Shevchenko's 11th title fight, compared to this being Grasso's, I believe, second and of course her first defence of the title. Let's speak more about what I just said. I mean, of course, this is for the women's flyweight title. It's a big fight. Like I said last time out, Grasso won via submission in round 4. Kind of shocked a lot of people. Nobody really expected her to win, and she won it in an emphatic fashion, in a fashion which, like I said, nobody expected, kind of to an extent came out of nowhere. But is she going to be able to replicate that again? It's similar kind of to when Edwards knocked out Usman to an extent, because first of all it came out of nowhere and it was just one kind of big moment, and then it ended up him winning, but then he managed to kind of secure it with the next fight because he proved to people that he can do it. And this is always the case with a rematch. People are asking, is it just luck the first time, or is it actually they're just better and that they just outfought them? And we'll have to wait and see. This is the whole point of rematches, of course. Of course, the UFC losses, Nunes, Shevchenko never really be able to beat Nunes, but then she moved down in weight, and Grasso also moving, I believe, down in weight as well. I might be wrong with that, but either way, they have had the equal amount of losses, well, similar amounts of losses, and they're fighting now for the second time. Like I said, Shevchenko has that much more title experience than what Grasso has, but also has that 5-year age gap and that 5-year age deficit, and that kind of throws up the questions of if she is past her best at this point, Shevchenko. And I feel like this fight is going to show us if she is or if she isn't. If she loses this one again in quite a bad fashion, then there's question marks, and they're quite big question marks, and it's going to take a lot to answer them. But if she wins, then everybody just kind of assumes it was just one slip up, and she goes back to being the champion and the big champion that she was. Let's speak more about the fighters though. So of course Shevchenko is a more experienced fighter. She's going to be wanting revenge going into this fight, so that might add a little bit of extra spite into her. She's quite composed normally. She picks her shots well. She's, in my opinion, got more of a striking variety than what Grasso has. She's strong. In my opinion, she is actually better on the ground. She's got good takedowns. She's accurate. She's got good timing. She's very controlling when she's on the ground. And in my opinion, she does have to wrestle. I know that's how she ended up losing, because she got submitted. But the reason why she got submitted was because she made a mistake when she was on the ground. I mean, on her feet. And that led to her opening herself up and then getting submitted. And I feel like she was definitely having the better of the fight. And I think she was winning the fight in general. And she was finding a lot of success on the ground, and I feel like that can definitely be the case for this fight as well. She could definitely find success on the ground if she times her takedowns well, which she was doing, and having complete dominance with her, in my opinion, more superior strength. Then she could definitely, she doesn't have to do loads, it doesn't have to be a really entertaining fight. She can just win it comfortably just by what she was realistically doing in the first fight, which was just very much just control on the ground and physical presence on the ground. And either way, I feel like even on the feet, there's still, in my opinion, Grace is more comfortable on her feet, but she still has, in my opinion, that more kind of variety and shot variety, and that could definitely lead to her finding success from that as well. But like I said, I think on the ground is where she's probably going to be the best place to play out for this fight for Shevchenko. Of course, she's coming off a loss, so that'll be interesting to see where her head's at, if there's any kind of past demons, because now she's going into a fight against the person that she lost against, and she might be a bit more reluctant now because she made a mistake and it led to her losing. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, she made mistakes on the feet, she made mistakes a few times on the ground as well, and she did sometimes give up her back a little bit in that first fight. She can become a little bit predictable at times with her takedowns. Just has to keep timing them well and not just relying on them. If she's not going to be able to keep her down there, then she's going to have to, of course, then she's going to have to throw, but just not become too predictable or too comfortable either. And then that's when you make mistakes. You throw shots which you don't necessarily need to throw, and then you make mistakes. And of course, she gave her back away, and that's where she lost it in the first place. But let's speak about Grasso. She knows now she can win. I feel like when you go in against a fighter who's been such a dominant champion and been such a recognisable face in the division for such a long time, and been somebody who, 11 title fights now, it's going to really take a lot to be able to beat them. But now she knows she can beat her. Now it's going to add that added bit of confidence and that added little bit of boost, I'm sure. And it's the same with a lot of fighters if they're in that kind of position as well. She is a front foot fighter. She's got good feints. She's got high guard. She can hit quite hard as well. She's got quite good timing in her striking as well. Maybe not as good on the actual takedown timing, but good. Well, to be fair, I suppose she managed to capitalise on the mistake, so maybe I take that back to an extent. She's got good combinations. She'll push you back. She punishes you when she's on your back. She can flip momentum, and in my opinion, she makes necessary adjustments as well during the fight. I feel like earlier on in the fight, she wasn't finding much success on her feet, and then she realised that Shevchenko was open to making mistakes, and she managed to capitalise on them in the later rounds, and that's how she managed to get the win. Even though she did, in my opinion, give away the early rounds and was losing, she did what she had to do, and she made the necessary adjustments to then be able to win, and it was an impressive victory for her. It was one which didn't really expect it to be from a submission, in my opinion. Of course, she's the more striker, but I'm not a massive fan of her striking. She's quite powerful, she's got good combinations, but she struggles to find range at times, and she's got good feints, but it's a little bit of an unorthodox striking ability as well. It doesn't look overly fluid or overly confident really, but it managed to work, so I can't really take anything too much away from it. Other negatives, I suppose, she does take shots as well because she doesn't have much of defensive movement really. She's not overly technical either. She is open to takedowns in her own right, and like I said, I felt like she was losing the fight prior to it, and Shevchenko is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Shevchenko will win via unanimous decision. I don't feel like it will be a stoppage. I feel like Shevchenko, I don't know if she can or she will be in the right frame of mind to really go for the stoppage. I feel like I said, she's just going to be just wearing her down on the ground, and then it just end up being one of them fights. I don't know how entertaining it will be, but it will be necessary for her to get the job done, and sometimes that's how fights have to be. They don't always have to be really entertaining back and forth fights. They just have to be comfortable sometimes, if you can make them comfortable, and then be able to win from that. And then where does she go on to next? Possibly Grasso again. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe not. There's quite a couple good fights in this division around at the moment. Blanchfield's coming off a big win now, and Fioro's coming off a big win now, so if they fight for an interim title, then possibly, or if either of them fight Shevchenko, that could be a good fight as well. We'd have to wait and see if there is any injuries from the winner of this, and if that's going to keep them out for a little while or not, because then there probably will be an interim title fight. But if not, then they might both, or one of them could go on to fighting for the title next. But in my opinion, probably one of the better states the division's been in a little while now. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like if you didn't, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.